What's up, guys? So I'm getting things ready to have some fun, as you can see back here. So I want to go over a little bit about preparing for all this. So let's go for a walk here. So over here I have got my adapters painted, brake rotors, e-brake, everything's ready to go on the axle. I do have a different diff cover coming. It'll be here in a few days, so I'm actually going to replace that diff cover, put a seal in it, and then I'll put all the fluid in it. Right now there's no fluid in it. I've got my 4 links painted, bushings all put in except for this one here. I had to back up and paint. Paint's not perfect on it, but it's going to be under the truck. It'll be all right. Not that concerned about it. I've got all my stuff laid out here. I've got my brake calipers, which I actually want to wipe them down with paint thinner today and paint them. And then I got my panhard bar, which I haven't painted at all because it still has to be fabbed once the axle's under the truck. Can't really do it ahead of time. And then over here, we got the truck in here kind of waiting because I'm going to work on taking some stuff loose today, and I'll go over that in another video. This right here, I'm working on my airbag mounts to the frame. So I've kind of got these tacked in place right now, getting my measurements. And then I've got my bump stop bolted on there. This bump stop came off my truck when I put my helper bags on my truck. So, and I know the airbags have internal bump stops. And they're like set at 2.8. And so this piece of metal here is a little, I think this is 3/8 maybe. I have to measure it. But I figure that'll get us close. This is about a 3-inch bump stop. So what I'd like to do is if I have a full load on the truck and I let the air out, if I've got 3 bump stops on each side, 6 bump stops, it shouldn't be that hard on the airbags and the bump stops internal to the airbags. I really don't want it to ride on the bump stops, but say something, I have a malfunction, I can't get air in the system or something, I don't want to drive it very far like that, but at least this would keep it from setting everything on the bags. But I got this right here will tie to the bottom of the frame, squared up, because if you look at the frame, I don't know if you can tell on the video here, but that frame runs uphill on the bottom side. It actually starts right about there. It's flat there, and then right about there it starts running uphill, and then it kind of tapers in the back here. You can see how much narrow it is there at the spring hanger. So working on prepping everything for the axle swap today. That way when I get everything ready to go, hopefully this will go quick. Something else I done was, I'll go back over here. I modified the brackets that I got from Infamous Metals. Maybe not absolutely necessary. Let's see here. But I took and made pieces that welded in here and here on both those to kind of, because these right here was just the flat metal here. And if you go back to earlier videos, it maybe shows them. But I put this piece in to kind of stiffen this side-to-side motion. Maybe not necessary. I mean, honestly, 4 links, shouldn't see much side deflection. That's kind of the panhard bar's job. But I figured it couldn't hurt as long as I left myself room for my end to work here and not touch anything. So I like overkill, guys. I mean, that's pretty obvious if you look at that. I'm one of those guys that if you know you've got it, 10-20% better than you'll ever need it, then you don't have to worry about it. And I got that peace of mind. And I don't plan on hauling anything more than, say, like my Jeep or a car on top on this truck when we get it done. That kind of weight, couple ton. And that right there, I'm figuring 9,000 pounds would be flirting with disaster a little bit with those trusses on the axle. Maybe not. I mean, GM 14 bolt's tough, right? So we'll see. I'll probably test it. and if I mess that one up, we'll have to build a different one. Maybe get something a little bigger. Who knows? I just want to stay lighter and newer. That way I could go with disc brakes available. Brake caliper stuff I can get from Advanced Auto, and a lighter running gear. Hopefully get a little bit better fuel mileage, make the truck more drivable. We'll see. But yeah, I've got my jack stands in place right there. We use the engine hoist and that jack there to kind of get up where we get the jack stands in place. It is about a ½ degree off level with those jack stands sitting where they're at as far as the length of the truck. And then the truck, as far as level this direction, it is right on level. And I'm doing all of this because when I remove this, I'm going to remove leaf springs and all. And I want the frame to be level. I'll get my little angle finder over here and show you. I want the frame to be level because, you know, if I can get the other axle jacked up into position and measure everything off the level surface, it'll make it easier to get all my, well, you can't see that real good because of the light coming from the garage. I'll turn this around. Because if you got everything level, it's easier to measure off of and get everything working like it's supposed to. So if you look at that, that right there is, well, it's about a little bit off. I might need to adjust that or something, put me a little shim under that one jack. But I want to try and get that close as possible. And then if you look at it this way, I am, because of the nature of the beast, I'm about a ½ degree off. So not quite, a ½ degree is pretty dead burn close. So as long as I kind of make sure everything else is just a slight bit on that side of the zero as I put it in, we'll be all right. I put me one piece of metal shim underneath this jack right here to kind of get it to set a little level, and it looks like I'll have to shim a little bit better. But setup is everything. And I got my buddies you've seen get into machining. Setup is the biggest thing when it comes to machining, when it comes to fab work, when it comes to prepare. If you've got everything set up properly and you're prepared, it'll make things flow a little easier. If you go into it without thinking about the process and how you're going to go about it, I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's not going to flow smoothly. And even then, you know, I think I've thought through all this, and I might hit a hiccup or two, but I'm trying to limit the possibilities of running into stuff that I didn't prepare for. So as far as setting up for big projects and getting things ready, and you'll see a lot more set up when we go to like the front end, for example. I mean, that's going to come one of these days. I'm going to start working on the setup for that. But I will slowly go through and set things up. And for us, we like to keep a rolling garage here. So I don't want to take up the garage space here in case we have to work on something else. So I bring this thing in for a couple days, and I'm going to try and do as much work as I can in a couple days, and then get this thing back out and back over in the other garage so it's not taking up the working space. And part of that is if I get everything prepared ahead of time, then it limits the amount of time I'm consuming the garage floor here with this truck. So if you've got limited space and you kind of got to keep other things going on, then preparations actually will help you limit that as well. So if you've got any questions about setup, what I talked about here, let us know. Link down below. And thanks for checking out this video, and you have to check out the next one because things are about to get a little bit more interesting as soon as I get my preparations done. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it.